go through the Scoops 2024 season predictions. Now, you probably think I'm going to start with my ladder predictions. Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, everyone. I'm going to go through that right at the very end. So we're going to get to that. So my 2024 ladder predictions will be at the very end of this show this evening. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer just to see my ladder predictions. Now what I'm going to start with first, Coleman Rising Star Brownlow Medalist. Alrighty, let's go with my Rising Star tip. My Rising Star tip for 2024. My prediction is the winner of the 2024 Rising Star Medal will be from the North Melbourne Football Club in Colby, McKercher. I don't think Harley Reid is as clear-cut as people think. I mean, he could easily win it, but I don't think he's a guarantee to win it, purely for the fact that I think Simo is going to be rested throughout the year. I mean, that doesn't mean he can't win it, but I think other midfield players that were drafted could do better. I don't see Nick Watson winning it. I don't see Zane Dersma winning it. So maybe someone like Caleb Windsor as well could be a chance. But my smoky too is from my Saints, Darcy Wilson, the speedster, the winger, the hard runner, played up forward as well. Had 2 good practice matches. I think he honestly could be one to keep an eye out on. So Colby McKercher is my Rising Star tip for 2024. And the smoky, Darcy Wilson from the St Kilda Football Club. Comment down below your Rising Star tip and your smoky for the Rising Star for 2024. It's really, honestly, could go either way. But that's what I've gone. Now, let's go through the next thing we're going to go through. Well, let's see how people take this. Hopefully people, as people would always say, this is my thing, my opinion. So, I'm just... So, my prediction for the Coleman Medal for 2024 is none other than the star key forward from the Saints, Max King. Now, you're probably saying, Scoops, you say Max King a lot in this spot. Well, quite frankly, when he is fully fit and has a full season under his belt and stays injury-free, he played like 17 games in the last few seasons. I think it was last year or the year before. He had 43 goals or something in like 14 games. So if he can play every game, he's a good shout for it. He's the best young key forward in the comp with Charlie Curnow. So I don't see why not. Obviously, Charlie Curnow, Jeremy Cameron will always be in that contention. But I'm going Max King for this position. Now, Brownlow Medal. Before we go into the ladder predictions, the Brownlow Medalist I have for this year. This one, again, is very interesting. But, this is what I've gone with. So, my prediction for the Brownlow Medal for season 2024 is none other. Some may say this is a surprise, but it's Tom Green from the Giants. Now, Tom Green from the Giants is my Brownlow Medalist here for 2024. Don't have to go predictable. Big fan of Tom Green. A Bull midfielder, was up there in the Scoops Medal last year for a reason. Tom Green is a very good player in the midfield. He loves to tackle. He racks up a lot of possessions. Surprisingly to some, his ball use is pretty good. He's a tackling machine, a clearance machine. Racks up over 30 pretty much each and every week with a star-studded midfield already. Now you could say Toby Green will pull votes off him. Canelio, Kelly, Whitfield, Hogan, Himmelberg. But that's what I have. And I think Tom Green will be the 2024 Brownlow Medalist. I mean, some other names, they're just the usual suspects you hear about. But, I didn't want to go the same as that everyone else keeps doing. So my Brownlow Medalist for 2024, I'll repeat again, is Tom Green. Tom Green. Now, my ladder predictions. Now, this is always heavily debated with people. But again, not everyone gets it all correct. So, in 18th position, I have none other than the West Coast Eagles. Now, you're probably going, oh, well, that's obvious, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. I got the Eagles in 18th place. I feel like, they were pretty bad in both their practice matches. Not that should fully matter, but it does matter more than people think. It's just the form you have, the effort you put in, and I don't think they'll go anywhere this year. I feel like they'll lose by far less than the chunks of games they lost last year. Obviously, they had, I think it was 300-point plus losses, 100-plus point losses, 3 of them. I think there'll be none of them. There might be one. Now, I don't think their margins will be as high, but that's what I have. The Eagles in 18th place. In 17th place, I've got the North Melbourne Football Club. Again, very similar. I don't see them doing much damage at all. Again, they may not lose by as much, but they won't overall win as much. I mean, and they're generally two sides that is pretty common for people to have in those bottom 2 spots. Now, this has changed from my early January predictions for this year. But now in 16th place, I've got the Essendon Football Club. I had them probably 15th in January, and haven't seen many major improvements in them in their 2 practice matches. They got thumped by us. They were up against Geelong for 3 goals, who aren't going to be that great this year themselves, and then to choke that lead. And then just the team overall is not that crash shot. They brought in Gresh and Ben Mackay, which is great for them, and Dersma and the Goldie, Todd Goldstein. But bringing in good recruits doesn't automatically mean success for the team overall. Individually, those guys might do well, in particular Gresham and Mackay, but we'll have to see what happens there. I don't see any improvement for them. Look, they could go maybe a bit higher, but I've got them in 16th. Someone's got to go there. In 15th place, I've got the Richmond Football Club. Again, a side on the decline. They performed okay in these practice matches, but then again, it's just practice matches, people say. They're on the decline. No Rewald, no Cochin. Martin's towards the end. Tom Lynch is still injured. Presty's always injured. Jack Graham's now injured. Some of the players they've pulled out in some positions, outside of Shai Bolton, Jaden Short, Nick Loston, they haven't got much else. So, bit of concerns. And Toby Nankervis is injured. And even if he plays, I mean, he hasn't been that great. In patches, he has been okay, but yeah, I don't see any improvement from the Tigers at all. Their key forward depth is absolutely weak. Jacob Gziski's going to play, and he couldn't get a game at Hawthorn, and he was playing in all over the ground in the VFL and AFL. Jacob Gziski, mainly out forward, but been floated around a few times. So in 14th place, I have the Hawks. Wow, their practice match game against the Bulldogs was absolutely embarrassing in that second half. How could they be up and then get spanked like that? Look, if the Hawks make the 8, I won't be totally shocked. If they're going to play it how they did against the Bulldogs in that second half, they're not beating many teams. So I have the Hawks in 14th place. In 13th position, I have the Western Bulldogs. People can always talk about that star-studded midfield all you like, but it's a team that wins you the game, not individuals. That back line is, and I'm going to keep on saying this until they recruit in that position, in the key defender area, their key defenders are absolutely terrible. Terrible. Their best one, in my eyes, who I rate the highest out of all their key defenders, is the one who hasn't played a game yet, who was a top 10 draft pick in the previous year's draft. It was Jed Bustinger. Alex Keith, Ryan Garner, James O'Donnell, don't rate any of them at all. They all should be playing VFL. Bailey Dale's their next best player, and he's not a key position forward. Caleb Daniels floating a few other positions. And their 4-line outside Norton and Waitman and Hugo Hagan, maybe. There's not much else. So, yeah, I think they'll be on the decline. And they were around this spot this year anyway. So, I've got the Bulldogs in 13th. In 12th place, I've got Geelong. Again, they're on the decline. They didn't make finals last year. Dangerfield's getting on. Can't rely on Hawkins as much anymore. Cameron, you got as well, I suppose. But that midfield's getting weaker. They did well in the draft with Mana, who should play early on, if not round 1 for them. Guthrie's injured, so yeah, I don't see no improvement. Geelong fans, I'm sorry, but that's just what I think. And you didn't make finals last year, and you didn't have anything to excite me to put you in at all. In 11th place, this is where it started to get harder. I put in 11th place with the Gold Coast Suns. Harder again, just like with the Bulldogs with their midfield. One person does not automatically make finals a thing. They were close to Stewie Dew. They may be close with Hardwick. But again, their preseason form hasn't helped me be convinced at all. So I've got the Suns in 11th place. I mean, Will Powell, Ben King, back from injuries. Witsy, Took Miller, Noah Anderson, Matt Rao. Some good names there. Ben Ainsworth, Jack Lukosius. I don't get the Sam Flanders hype. I mean, he's done really well in the back half of last year, but geez, calm the farm with some of your predictions about Sam Flanders. See if he can keep it up for a whole year. And not just the last 6 to 8 weeks of the previous year when the season was dead and buried for them, basically. But yeah, I've got the Suns in 11th place. In 10th place, I've got the Dockers. The Dockers are a hard one to get a read on. Losing all these players to injuries. Hayden Young's going to play through the midfield of Andy Brayshaw and Callum Sarong, and Sean Darcy's a ruck. Very dangerous there. Their backline's pretty good. With Brennan Cox, Luke Ryan, Heath Chapman, Alex Pearce. So I like their backline and midfield mix. Their forward line's a bit scratchy. Walters has passed it now. Lockie Schultz left, the Pies. But yeah, their other 2 positions are pretty strong in their ruck with Sean Darcy. He's one of the best rucks on the comp, probably outside of the top 3. Obviously, you got Marshall and English and Gorn, probably top 3. And Darcy and Witsy would probably be the next 2. And Grundy. So I have the Dockers in 10th place. In 9th place, I got the Crows. I could even slid them down a little bit, but then again, I haven't been impressed with Freo, Gold Coast, and the Bulldogs and Geelong. So Adelaide slid up to there. They had good practice matches. I don't get this hype about them automatically making the 8. They're well and truly good. I've got them in 9th, which means I think they're closer. But I don't see it. I really don't see it. They're making the 8. I know with Dawson and Keys, Riley O'Brien, Tex Walker, Isaac Rankin. Brody Smith. They said they were going to get a better fixture and they didn't really get one. That was rated highly. It's one of the hardest, apparently. Or mid-range, so that's not easy, as last time I checked. But yeah, I've got the Crows in 9th place. So in 8th place, I've got the Port Adelaide Football Club. Now, the reason I have Port Adelaide 8th is they did go out in straight sets, but that's not why, like some people are saying. Because I just feel like they're a team that could be top 4 and could be comfortably in top 4. They also are a side that could be comfortably out of top 4. Don't know what side's going to come out. It's not Ken Hinkley's fault. It's the players that play, obviously, Butters, Rosie, and that midfield. Bo could push through there. Obviously, Wines is there. Or Francis plays there. Up forward, Finlayton, Dixon, Willie Rioli, that comes to mind. Back line of Aaliyah, Miles Bergman, and Dan Houston, depending on what position Dan Houston plays. I've got the Power in 8th, but look, they can quite easily go up to top 4. It wouldn't shock me if they did. In 7th place, I've got my Saints. Now, we finished 6th last year. I mean, our side is relatively the same, bringing in the draftees. Paddy Dow, I'm excited to see Paddy Dow come into the team, see how he goes. Obviously, he more than likely won't play round 1 along with Dan Butler. And Jack Sinclair's in Dow, but that's only round 1. So, the additions of Darcy Wilson and Liam Henry and Paddy Dow, I'm happy to see how they go. And obviously, guys like Ari Showmaker and Lance Collard in the draft, we'll see if they get some games in them. I'm sure they will throughout the year. In the forward line, obviously, Max King, welcome back Timmy Membry, Mitch Owens, Cooper Sharman, Filippo, Owens. So, in Caminiti's probably going to be back up now if needed. He hasn't been playing in the practice matches, only the last few minutes of yesterday's game. Zane Cordy will come in with Dougal Howard now doing a hamstring round 1. Obviously, be supported in that backline by Cal Wilkie. Josh Battle will be back after being arrested yesterday. And so Jimmy will be on the sidelines for a little bit, hopefully not too long. But yeah, we'll be fine. I don't get the hate. Everyone's over 50% of people. There was a poll on SEN, I think, a couple of weeks ago, saying that 50% of people in the poll think we're going to fall out of the 8. Well, to prepare for 50% plus of you to be wrong, because I have us in the 8, I have us in 7th place. In 6th place, I have the Swans in 6th place. They could be on the other side, a bit like Port. They could fall in the top 4, and one shot when they fall towards the bottom of the top 8. Obviously, Keeney's always an interesting one every year. Parker's there for a little bit. Mills is out for a little bit. Brody Grundy's coming to the team. Terrific. Taylor Adams is injured. But if they're all fit and firing, they're going to make the 8. I'll be pretty confident in that if they can all be fit and firing. Grundy, Adams, Heaney, Parker, Mills, Rampy, Florent, Rowbottom, Papley. There's probably a few I'm missing on top of my head. Nick Blakey. So Dane Rampy, as I said. Yes, they'll be fine. I think they'll make the 8. And obviously no Buddy, but they've been around Buddy for parts of the year. Logan McDonald. So yeah, I got them in 6th place. In 5th place, I got the Melbourne Football Club. Straight out and straight, it's like the power. I could have had them 8th. Had an impressive win over Carlton in the practice matches. But it's interesting to see how they'll go. Clayton Oliver's going to play round 1. So he's fine now after the stuff he's had going on. Salem maybe playing a bit more midfield, apparently. I don't know about that. I'd play him in the half back line. Jack Billings, new club, making his debut this week on RJB. Happy for you, mate. Blake Howes will make his debut for Melbourne this week. And so will Caleb Windsor. They're top dropping along with Colton Tholstrup, who's not debuting this week, but an X-Factor player for the Melbourne Football Club to pick up, so they did it right there. And obviously, as I said, Billings, Shane McAdam, I don't know if he'll play. I think he's still injured. He didn't play because of an injury this week. I don't think he's available this week. So, and he wasn't in their debut time video, so I'd say he's not playing. So, yeah, it's Melbourne in 4th place. I don't see a spot for Ben Brown. I don't see where Ben Brown's future lies at the Melbourne Football Club, along with Tom McDonald. They're both probably past it, and they're probably not going to be considered heavily anymore. See, Matt Jefferson's a key forward they'll look for in the future as well. Probably ahead of those two. Now, in 4th place, I've got Carlton. Look, I'm not real confident with some teams. Like, I don't think necessarily Carlton might make top 4, but I'm putting them in 4th because I don't see anyone else that's not been mentioned already. That has been mentioned already that make it the top 4. Maybe Port. Maybe Sydney, like I said. I just don't know. So I've got Carlton in 4th. I mean, they could even fall as far as 8th, maybe 9th. But I've got them in 4th place. Obviously, Kerner and Mackay. Silvani's unfortunately after the ACL injury, which Sauce all the best. And obviously the backline of Wiedering, Newman, Sard. So they got all right. And then obviously their rucks, their major problem. Also got Cripps, Walsh in the midfield. Chera, Akers, Blakey Akers. Mark Pitnet and Tom DeConing have their big issues, I feel, in the ruck. They're still pretty weak in that spot. Alex Murkov is another one they've got there. There's a bit of a concern for them, but they'll have to manage it throughout the year and target a tier level ruckman next year. I don't know why they gave Pitnet a 4-year deal, but I have him in 4th place. In 3rd place, I have the GWS Giants. I've been on the Giants bandwagon for a while. Said all through last year when people were doubting them, I kept saying, beware the Giants. They've had one bad game all year. It was against the Pies in like round 3 or 4 last year at the gym. They lost by like 60 points. And they hadn't had, and they still haven't, had a bad game since. At least in their losses, they make the other team earn it. And it's only by under 3 goals, 4 goals max. And they're in it to the end. Toby Green, Tom Green, Kieran Briggs had a breakout year last year. Hogan, Himmelberg, Daniels, Bedford, who had a breakout year as well. Did better in his 1 year at the Giants, did his whole career at Melbourne. Himmelberg, I mentioned Hogan, Isaac Cumming. Kane hasn't in as much this year, but he's a great player, and I wish the Saints targeted him. I can go to Whitfield, Cornelio, Josh Kelly, Guns. Guns everywhere you look. Not just the gun show, they are star gun players in the competition of the Giants. I even considered them in the top 2, and I honestly was that close to doing it. In second place, I've got the 2 grand finalists. In second place, the Brisbane Lions. Again, Neil, Dunkley, Danaher, Hipwood, Andrews, Coleman, Zorko. Their team runs deep. Dunkley, Berry, Jared Berry, that is. So Hugh McCluggage, who is underrated as well. So they'll be up there again. They may face Collingwood in the grand final. And in first place, I have the Collingwood Football Club. Obvious reason they just won the grand final, so it's the safest option. They've had a Lockie Shorts, would be great to them. Had a few injuries, so they've had a few SSP signings. Check by Tel, former Saint. Lockie Sullivan from the Bulldogs VFL, the former captain of the Footscray VFL team. Sorry, he's been really good. And Josh Eyre, who's had 2 chances at Essendon and then was going to be selected by the Saints last year and done a hammy or something badly late. So that's what he can pick up. And he did a hamstring late for the Pies. Believe me, it's about 6 to 8 weeks, I think they said. They still picked him up. So, yeah, that's my ladder predictions. Let me get it on the screen for you all right now. Alrighty. Okay. There is the 2024 Scoops ladder predictions. In 18th place, the Eagles. 17th, the Roos. 16th, Essendon. 15, Richmond. 14, Hawthorn. 13, the Bulldogs. 12, Geelong. 11, Gold Coast. 10, Fremantle. 9, Adelaide. 8, Port Adelaide. 7, St Kilda. 6, Sydney. 5, Melbourne. 4, Carlton. 3, GWS. 2, Brisbane. And first place, the Collingwood Football Club. So that is my ladder predictions for this season.